Where were you, Superman? Where were you when we actually needed you for once?
Peter, what's wrong?
We had Batman exactly where we wanted him, but he still managed to get away and leave my men looking like drooling idiots. I say it's time we got tough and cracked a few skulls just like we did in the good old days.
No, there must be no killing, Peter. That was Comrade Stalin's way, not mine.
What? How dare you ridicule the legacy of my father? He was 10 times the man you'll ever...
Excuse me, Peter. There's been a signal malfunction 800 miles away. 2 trains are about to collide. By the time the words had reached his ears, I was already in Minsk and had spotted 3 other emergencies, which merited my immediate attention. Princess Diana of Themyscira was perhaps the only person I could really talk to in those days. An outstanding convert to communism. Diana had opted to leave her Amazonian paradise and fight with me for equality in man's world. Diana became my international peace ambassador, the greatest champion for social justice the world had ever known. So, how was America?
Disgusting, Superman. Absolutely disgusting. It's 1978 and children are still sleeping in the streets over there.
The tanker, Superman! The tanker's going to blow!
Not while there's a breath left in my body.
You're such a show-off, you know that?
Sometimes I wonder if Luther and the Americans are right, Diana. Perhaps we do interfere with humanity too much. Sometimes I worry that people don't even like me.
Oh, the people love you, Superman. Some more than you'd ever believe.
Is the lady's identification valid? Papers are in order. Face matches the photo in the book and the fingerprints look authentic enough. I guess this must mean today's another wedding anniversary, huh, Miss Lane?
That's Mrs. Luther, gentlemen. Lois Lane's just for the byline, remember?
Ma'am?
Happy anniversary, Lex. Here's to another 23 glorious years, darling.
Lois, what a wonderful surprise. Apologies in advance for not buying you anything, but I've been reading 13 fascinating books this morning. Leave the usual present on the desk, and you have my word that one of my assistants can open it later, sweetheart.
Who was that red-headed guy I just passed in the hall? He looked kind of familiar.
Well, he shouldn't have. That was Mr. James Olson, the Pentagon's anti-Superman advisor, and probably the next director of the CIA. Olson commissioned LexCorp to develop what we think could be the most effective anti-Superman deterrent yet.
Is that what you're working on now?
I'm sorry, darling, but I'm afraid that's classified information. Speaking of which, JFK and Norma Jean are joining us for dinner tonight. Apparently, Jack's got some UFO business he said I'd be interested in.
Oh, Lex. Don't you ever stop. This was supposed to be the one night of the year we always guarantee we're going to spend some time together.
You don't understand, Lois. Jack tells me Brainiac and Superman aren't the only aliens who visited the Earth. It seems that another alien crashed in Roswell, New Mexico back in 1947, and the United States of America have an extraterrestrial of our very own. They say the passengers sustained terrible injuries when the ship crashed and died a little later, but an object was recovered from his finger, which interests me enormously. Hoover covered up the incident, hid the body inside some desolate airbase, and then erased said airbase from the map. All fairly standard procedure. Checkmate, incidentally.
Listen, bring Norma Jean and Jack to dinner if you want, Lex. I'm not sure I even care anymore.
Oh, of course you still care, Lois Luther. Why else would you have chosen to live alone all these years, eh?
I guess you're right, Lex. Maybe I am just a one-man woman.
People are saying that the explosion tore the space station in half, Commander Oslov. They say those cosmonauts would have died if Superman hadn't spotted that flash on the surface when the oxygen reserves caught fire. Personally, I don't think we should be spending money on a space program when there are Americans going hungry out there. What do you think, sir?
I think nobody like you doesn't need to be convinced, moron. Now shut up and get me to the theater before I have you shot for insolence. For God's sake, man! You trying to get us killed?
Believe me, comrade, you're going to die a lot more painfully than this.
Jesus God Almighty!
I heard you wanted to see me, Commander. Well, let's hear what you have to say.
What? How dare you speak to me like that? Do you realize who I am?
Your name is Peter Yosef Roslov, illegitimate son of the late Joseph Stalin, and currently head of the security services. You're a vain man, a cruel man, and obsessively jealous of Superman. It's no secret that you harbor political ambitions of your own. Who you are is meaningless. The question is why you're putting the word around that you want to talk to me.
I take it, that it's safe to speak down here?
Naturally, Commander.
Then I will get straight to the point. Lex Luthor and his friends in the CIA have an interesting proposition for you, Batman. They want you to kill Superman.
And why should Luthor's latest plan be any different from all his previous failures?
They're using information our people found in the rocket ship that brought Superman to Earth. And it seems they figured out his weakness. Now we're only going to get one shot at this. Our only hope of finally replacing that alien with a qualified human figurehead.
You're joking, of course. Why would I put someone like you in charge of the system, Roslov? You'd be twice the monster Superman is. 10 times as bad.
Supposing he's immortal, can you imagine an eternity of communist rule under that tyrant? Whose regime does the master strategist think he'd stand a better chance of toppling, eh? Use your head, Batman.
Okay, it's a deal. But understand this. Once Superman is dead and buried, I'm coming after you so hard and so fast that nothing on this earth will ever be able to stop me. I swear, on the memory of my mother and father, you're going to follow him to an early grave.
You mean you can try? Ladies and gentlemen, comrades from every quarter of the Soviet Union, please raise your glasses and join me in a toast to Superman in this birthday celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, to President Superman!
President Superman!
You haven't seen Diana, have you, Tony? She was supposed to meet me back at the Presidium hours ago.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about her, Superman. As far as I recall, Wonder Woman's more than capable of looking after herself. Good God! This is outrageous!
I think it's pretty clear who's behind this.
10 seconds, Superman. Batman said you have 10 seconds to find me. The bat signal was just a means of attracting your attention. It seems that this is where things get really serious.
What have you done to her, you animal?
We ordinary people may lack your great speed or your X-ray vision, Superman, but never underestimate the power of the human mind.
I'm afraid it takes more than a few smoke bombs and an explosive in your small intestine to beat me, you know. Oh, sun lamps. Wonderful. Let them burn for a few thousand years and I might get a heat rash. Good God! How did you do that? How did you get so strong? Not that it matters, of course. A well-placed blast of heat vision and—
You don't really get it, do you? You don't have heat vision anymore, Superman! Strange visitor from another planet, last son of a dying world. Everything they needed to defeat you could be found in those two phrases, Superman. Building solar lamps to simulate the rays of your native red sun was Lex Luthor's idea, in case you were wondering.
Run, Superman! Get out of the light and your powers come back!
You never should have come here, Superman. You should have died in your own world and kept your alien fingers out of human affairs.
Diana, can you hear me? Please listen carefully, because what I'm about to ask you is our only chance against him now. I know breaking the lasso is going to hurt, but there's really no other way we're going to beat him, Diana. As your oldest and dearest friend, I'm begging you to do whatever it takes here.
Wonder Woman! No!
Get the hell out of my way, little man!
He's using you! You don't understand? All he cares about is the power!
No more tricks, Batman! No more solar lamps or magic lassos. Just a few hours brain surgery and a job in a Moscow bank for you. Now, tell me, who set me up?
Come now, Superman. Surely you know I'd rather martyr myself for the cause than end my days as one of your ridiculous Superman robots. Why else would I have swallowed a bomb before you and I went head-to-head? Oh, and by the way, it was Peter who betrayed you.
Superman! Are you okay? I found the generator just like you asked me to, and tossed it into the Norwegian Sea, but I think I might have hurt myself when you made me snap that cord. It was like, I don't know, something just kind of switched off in my head or something. I mean...
Peter?
Riots in California, the White House bombed by communist sympathizers, Texas and Detroit seriously talking about independence. I'm afraid you won't be getting my vote next time, Jack.
Ah, but remove Superman from the world stage, and a very different picture emerges, Dr. Luthor. And now, we finally have the means to do it. Our dead friend in the solution here seems to have belonged to a group or corps of similar beings charged with the duty of policing the universe, possibly as some kind of space cops.
What's the lantern for?
The ring was attached to the alien's third finger, and as you can see, features a lantern of near identical design. Unfortunately, nobody at the base has been able to guess their relation, but we hoped you might be able to shed a little light on the situation.
Dear God, Jack. Are you people really this stupid? What you're looking at here is a weapon, old friend.
Time passed and my grip grew tighter. Barely a decision was made across the length and breadth of the Soviet Union without my permission in some form or another. The population was largely grateful and obedient, but the freedom fighters inspired by the death of Batman remained something of a problem. My desire for order and perfection was matched only by their dreams of violence and chaos. I offered them utopia, but they fought for the right to live in hell. Diana, of course, was the only one among us who truly knew the meaning of that word. Her days had become a monotonous timetable of bathing, eating, and sleeping, unable to even speak for long months after her experience in Siberia.
Commander Roslov? Where have you been?
What? Spent a little time in hospital? Quite true, Delana, quite true.
Oh my God.